What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin Prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy freaking Tuesday. As you are all tuning in, let me know how your day is going. Let me know how your day is going. I'm about to get this kicked off here in just a second. Just closing some tabs out. My computer's kind of yelling at me a little bit. But as you are tuning in, let me know how your day is going. Hope you're having a good day so far. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. It's going to be I actually really I like this topic. I don't know if I've actually ever talked about it before. And so today I'm going to be telling you guys, those of you that are watching right now, why I actually teach my clients like how to actually like leave me eventually, if they want to. And so it's and you might be thinking right now like, oh, like isn't that the point of like any like coach or like program or whatever? You'd think, right? You would think. But oftentimes that's not actually the case. And I'm going to talk about why. And after I say it and after I talk about it, it's going to make a lot more sense. And you're going to be like, oh, shit. Like, you're going to see that in other places and hopefully recognize it and not let it happen to you. Um, but before we get started, let me know how your day is going. Give this video a like, drop a comment so I know that you're here. Like I always talk about, it helps other people see this shit because the algorithm likes that. Yeah. And if you're watching this at a later time, hashtag replay so I know you saw it. But yeah, why do I want my clients to leave the nest eventually, right? Why do I want my clients to be self-sufficient eventually? Why do I want them to be able to learn how to do the things that I teach them how to do on their own? Like, why do I teach them in the first place? Like, why do I give them the secret recipe or secret sauce to like how to like actually do this long term so they don't need me anymore, right? Because if you think about it, like there are a lot of programs out there right now. That you've joined. Maybe you've done it before. Weight Watchers, or maybe it's been Beachbody, or a lot of other coaches and programs and things like that that you see online, like P90X or whatever. That you've participated in or you followed, but they only give part of the puzzle, right? They only give part of the puzzle. They only, or a lot of like commercial gyms and things like that. Like they really push, working out and training and personal training packages and things like that. Blah 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 blah. They really push that shit, right? We've all been there. We've all signed up for a gym membership in the past where they're like you get like swarmed by like 10 fucking people. They're like, hey, like like you should sign up for these training sessions. We got to do your body analysis thing and blah 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 blah, and like let's do this exercise test. And they're just like sinking, planting these seeds and sinking you in to like thinking that you need personal training. I've literally been to gyms where they have told my friends that were like signing up for like a bonus thing through me, that they were like, yeah, like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna, be in a calorie deficit. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna train. Blah blah blah. And they like sat there like with me, and I was like trying to keep my mouth shut. And like they're like saying like, that's not probably gonna work. And it's like, the fuck are you talking about? Like that is how it works. That's how it's going to work. That's how you're going to reach their goals. But in a lot of those places and a lot of these programs and things like that, they train salesmen to be personal trainers and not personal trainers how to be salesmen, right? And so there's things like that that happen a lot of times, and you've all been in that situation, I'm sure, if you've ever gone to a gym before where they try to like hard press you to sign up for shit. But they don't, they push personal training, but they don't push nutrition, which doesn't really make sense to me, right? If you think about it, because like I said yesterday in my live, nutrition is going to be have the biggest impact on your weight loss goals or your fat loss goals or whatever it may be that you're trying to strive towards. And so, you know why that is? You know why they only give you part of the puzzle? Because they don't want you to know how to do it on your own. They don't. And it might not even, and I'm not saying like individual people, but as corporations and as like large businesses, or people who, don't want to give all their goodies away, they don't want you to be self sufficient. They want you to need them, right? They want you to need them. And because of that, like they don't want you to leave. They want you to have to come back to them eventually. They want you to depend upon their service so you stay with them, right? Like, because if you leave and you never come back, oh, they lost a customer, right? They lost a customer. They're not getting as much money anymore. And because of that, they, in a lot of ways, want you to, like, they build it into their business models that a lot of their clients, like, it's part of their retention and things like that. They build it out to where they're like, oh, like, yeah, they're gonna quit eventually, because they're gonna feel good about where they're at right now. Like they're gonna feel good about the progress they made, and then after like a month or two, they're gonna fall off, and they won't know how to like keep it off once things stop working that they already tried. And guess what? Guess who's gonna be there to make them feel better about how they just yo-yoed because the last time that they did our program or did our nutrition or drank our shakes or whatever it may have been, Herbalife or Beachbody and blah 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 blah. Guess who they're going to run to because they remember that last time that they lost 10, 15, 20 pounds whenever they did our program, even though they just gained it all back because they stopped doing it. And so that's part of that's part of their process. Like they plan on that shit. As crappy as it sounds, and that's another reason why I started doing what I was doing because I was tired of seeing people get taken advantage of, with all these like bullshit like yo-yo diet, yo-yo plans, that cause people to do that stuff, and then you feel bad because you didn't learn how to actually do it on your own long term. You're just banking on these systems and these programs that like don't actually tell you why you're doing what you're doing, right? And so and there is some, like I've said in the past, like it's not all their fault, right? Like you uh uninformed or uneducated, like not in a bad way necessarily, just you have blind spots, right? Like consumers, like there some fault rests on the consumer, right? Some fault rests, and a lot of the fault rests also on the businesses. But like you can only get taken advantage of if you're not doing your research and things like that to an extent when it comes to this stuff. So it's like yes, if you did more research, maybe you that wouldn't happen to you. But a lot of people don't have that kind of time. A lot of people are in vulnerable positions. They'll try anything, right? Because they want so desperately to make this big change. And that's what bothers me the most about a lot of these like companies that do this shit. And so, yeah, and because that you come back, they want to make more money, right? And like talking about money, like I mean, it's one of those things like people get weird about money whenever you talk about it. People get weird about that shit. Even though I feel like we shouldn't, right? And it's one of those things like yeah, like full train, like if somebody could be like, yeah, like but you want money too, and it's like fuck yeah, I do. Like why would like yeah, like full transparency, like what person doesn't want to make money doing something that they love, right? Like that's why we all go to fucking work, right? Like yeah, like I want to be able to provide for my family and eat food and have clothes, like it's weird. It's one of those things that it's kind of like a conundrum. It's like yeah, no shit. Um, but I want my clients, right? If you're watching this right now, if you're a client of mine and you're watching this right now, like I want you to get such a great, like if you're a client of mine or if my clients are watching right now, like my goal is like I want you to get such great fucking results, right? That not only do you like you succeed, right? You're happy, you succeed, you feel fucking awesome, like you're like living your best life, right? Like that's like the end goal, right? Like that's what we want. Um, but also because of that, like it's a win-win for everybody because like you're so happy with your results that you get and you reach your goals that guess what? Other people notice. Your family, you tell people, you tell your friends, family about it, like they notice. They get to be a part of something that helps them reach that next level. Like everybody wins in the scenario where, if I teach my clients how to do this on their own eventually and if they choose to like leave the nest, if that's what they want, like that's great because that's one more capable person out there that knows what the hell they're doing that can impact their kids, that can impact their friends, their family, or if they, because everybody's got shit to do, right? Like, just because somebody knows how to do it does not entitle them to share that with you, because they've got other shit going on. Like, they their job might not be being a personal trainer or being an online coach or whatever it may be. Their job is their job, and but because they know how to do it, they can share that information with other people. And because of that, they eventually get access to somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, right? That's my goal. Like that's what I want is like I want people to like I want to give people such great results that they are ecstatic about the thought of them like that they've reached these goals and they want to like shout it to the mount like to the skies because they're so happy about it, right? Like that's what I want. I want people to learn so much from me that like they like feel confident, in the fact that like what they're doing is going to work for other people, right? To an extent depending on the person's like goals, right? And so like I want that, and it's literally the best case scenario because it's like if both parties can like get like something great out of it, right? like and they can and I can do something like that I can feel really good about. Like it's the concept, like the law of like reciprocity. Like the more I give and can feel good about, the more I get, right? Like if I like that's the concept that I like base my like life and like my business off of is like if I can do so much freaking good, guess what? More good shit's gonna happen to me. Like that's just how it works. And so like if that's like I have no problem with that. I have no problem sharing my secrets and telling my clients how to do everything. Like and giving them like the blueprint and basically downloading my mindset and my brain and my skill sets into theirs over a course of a period of time. Like that's great, right? Like that's more capable people out there that know what they're doing, and that's my goal. And so it's one of those things though. Like it's one of those things though that if you're a client of mine watching this right now, if you're somebody who I've worked with in the past, like some need more time than others, right? Everybody's at a different place in their life. Some people are younger, some people are older, some people have different life experience in the past where they might not have as much education on certain topics, or maybe they've got certain like mindset or emotional traumas or things like that that they're processing. Like everybody is on a different timeline, and that's where like this whole you versus you concept kind of comes into play, where like everybody's journey is different, right? Some people like can come into a program for like like I don't know, like a couple of months, and they're like, okay, I feel pretty good. I feel capable. I got what I wanted out of it, and like I feel good. I'm gonna go on my own way. Other people, like they have different goals, different timelines, different life experiences. They're probably gonna need more than that. Like, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to put like a timestamp on shit. But it's one of those things where it's like I really like want my clients to be able to like do this on their own eventually. And for some, it can kind of be one of those things where like they see it as a luxury at some point, right? Like if you can afford to like make like to have that option, like that's great too. Like, but just like the fact that you know how to do things on your own eventually, like that, like, and you know how to do those things, like that's great, right? Like that's great. Like there's nothing wrong with having a coach, even if you know what you're doing. Like I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm probably gonna hire a coach too, just because like I don't want to have to think about that shit. I know what I'm doing, but I don't have to think about that shit. Like I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to maximize my time because I want to make as much of a big impact as possible in my lifetime. And so it's one of those things. It's like the less I have to like spend mental bandwidth on certain things, that's great. The better. Like I'm fine with that. And so, if you're in that situation, like that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with having somebody for like a longer period of time. But some do need that accountability, right? Some do need that accountability long term, and that's great too, because you know what your weaknesses are, and because you know what your weaknesses are, you can work on them, you can do something about it, and turn it into a strength by like being self-aware. And so, those situations too. Like again, like if you just like working with somebody, like that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. And that's something that I've kind of learned, being in my like mentorship programs in the past, is like I like the fucking environment. Like I like it. I like being connected to other people that it like like I know how to do a lot of things now, but I don't want to leave that like community, that sense of community, that having that access to those types of people that I enjoy being around. Like right, like that makes sense too, right? Like if you feel like connected to it in some way, and it's like if you can do it, like why not do it and have that in your pocket whenever you need it, right? And so like that's another way. That's another way of looking at it too. In terms of like you know kind of how I view like what I like to do and why I think that everybody's on their own timeline, and just like I think everybody benefits from different things at certain times. And so if you're in a program and it worked really well for you and you liked it, and it was like and you got what you wanted out of it, but you still like feel connected and you want to be a part of that, like there's no shame in that either, right? Like so many people like feel like they have to leave something, but like if you don't want to, like that's your choice, right? You don't have to. But that's like that's one of those things. It's like I want to cultivate and create like a culture where like that's like a normal thing too, right? But if you are someone though, like if you are someone that does end up working with me, or that you are working with me, like you better be ready to freaking buckle up, because you're gonna fucking learn. Like that's part of it too. It's like I want like people to like be able to like do this shit on their own like so badly. In terms of just having the knowledge, right? Like just in terms of having the knowledge, but you got to make sure. And this is just like tale of caution. Like be careful who you work with, right? Like, be careful who you work with. Like, there are plenty there. The market is so fucking saturated because everybody and their freaking mom is trying to be a fitness coach, right? Everybody, like online coaches, like they're fucking everywhere. You get DMs from them like on a daily basis, like, and it's just like a like copy and pasted like shit, like it's and you get it like every damn day. And that just tells you how saturated the fucking market is. So just be careful. Like, do your research. Like look for like references, right? Like look for like transformations or client spotlights, or look for like proof that they like kind of know what the fuck they're talking about before you just like start throwing money at people. Because like they're like I would be willing to say like at least like 50% of the people that I get on phone calls with have been burned by a bad experience with another coach in the past, right? Or program or whatever it may have been. Like most people who are trying to lose weight right now have probably tried it in the past. Most people, it's not their first rodeo. A lot of people have done Beachbody or Weight Watchers or like Atkins diet or like Herbalife or all these other like MLM scam shit. Like a lot of people have done that shit, and because they've done that shit, like it's not their first rodeo. Like they're hesitant. They're nervous. They're like they don't want to get fucked over again, right? Like I wouldn't want to get fucked over. Like I feel very fortunate that I never really bought into a lot of that stuff like from the beginning, because I'm like I've always been like somebody like especially like earlier like has been a very like like research and like deep research kind of like oriented person, where like did I fuck up on a bunch of stuff? Yes. Did I spend money fucking up on a bunch of stuff? No, not really. Thankfully, like I just used my time, and so it's one of those things. Like there's two routes that you can go with a lot of this stuff. You can go, the trial and error route, like I did for a long fucking time, or you can hire somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing and streamline that shit, so you don't have to do all. So you don't have to spend like like 7 or 8 fucking years like screwing up like I did. And so that's just another way of kind of viewing it. And so but a lot of people have been burned in the past, because they did that route, right? They're trying to streamline it, but they did it with the wrong vehicle, right, or the wrong plan or the wrong person. And they got burnt by it, and that's what I want you to avoid doing. And I'm not saying that means like if you want to work with me, sweet. Like if you don't want to work with me, also sweet. But like just be careful. Like just be careful. Just err on the side of caution. Be healthily skeptical of people, even me. If you see a message from me, feel free to be healthily skeptical. That's fine too. So other than that, though, that's all I got for you guys today. That's my live. But that is why I want my clients to be able to learn how to do their own shit. Because like if they can do it on their own, like everybody wins, right? Everybody fucking wins. So other than that, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you got value from this, give this video a like. That way I know you saw it. Hopefully you got some value from it. Hopefully that makes sense and gives you guys an idea of what you should like expect from a program, right? There should be some fucking level of like education or continued education, or like if you're trying to lose weight and they aren't talking about nutrition, get the fuck out of there. Like don't sign up for that shit. If they aren't like talking about nutrition or trying to help you with nutrition at some point in the program, like that is not the program for you. If you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain weight, like nutrition is everything at the end of the day. And it's just a matter of like how like healthy and strong and like to an extent what you can look like body composition wise. That's where the workouts and strength training and stuff like that come in. But yeah, if you want to lose weight and you're not focusing on nutrition, dip the fuck out. Don't do that shit. So other than that though, have a good rest of your day. Like I said, feel free to let me know your number one takeaway. #replay for watch this later time. Share this with somebody if you feel like they would get value from it. And yeah, other than that, talk to you all later. Have a good one.